Hi students, welcome to BTech 360. Today we're going to talk about AP EAPCET. Earlier it was used to be called AP EAPCET where medical was a part of it. Now because pharmacy has been added, it is engineering, agriculture, pharmacy, common entrance test is what it is, and we're talking of AP EAPCET at this point in time. And I'll give you all details of what AP EAPCET is all about and what are the top 5 colleges that you must be aiming to get into if you want to get a good rank out here. But before I move further, 3 things. 1, please subscribe to BTech 360 right now. 2, if you want to talk to any one of us personally, there's a number out here. Please make sure that you send a message on that and one of our counselors will call you. And 3, if you want me to cover any college which you wanted to understand better, or if you want to understand any examination that you have, which is a national examination besides AP EAPCET, please write it in the message box. I'll try to cover that for you. Now coming back to AP EAPCET, we're talking of the top 5 colleges which are accepting AP EAPCET. Now you should all know that AP EAPCET is essentially the state entrance examination for Andhra Pradesh. It is engineering, agriculture, pharmacy, common entrance test. That's what it is, right? We'll talk of the placement statistics of these top 5 engineering colleges and why we rank them well. Whenever we talk of the top 5 colleges, now what we do is we try to pick up those colleges which are most competitive. And how do we do that? By picking up the highest closing rank of those colleges which are lowest in the sense, we're talking the highest closing rank of course, but in terms of the most competitive one. So we pick up 5 colleges and talk of from the hierarchy 1 to 300, 300 to 500, 500 to 600, and you'll see that how we go about doing it here. Just to put things in perspective, the total number of students who registered for the exam was 3.62 lakh students, of which 3,40,300 students actually appeared for the examination. The number of colleges that are accepting AP EAPCET for their purposes is 420 plus. And the number of seats you have is 1.43 lakh. And remember, this will also have some of the private universities that have been established in Amravati also, because 1/3 of their seats are also going through AP EAPCET, where the fee is also very, very discounted in a certain sense, right? So you'll also be able to use AP EAPCET to get into a VAT university or a SRM AP university, or for that matter, even Amravati and so on and so forth. So you must be very clear of the fact that all the state private universities that you have in the state of Andhra Pradesh also have to give in 1/3 of their seats for the AP EAPCET students based on the merit list only. So that is where this becomes very important, because it might actually, even if you want to get into one of these universities, you'll be able to get into it on your own merit, on your own score, and the fee would be very, very well discounted. Now, what are the 5 institutes? We'll start with the 5 institutes as I told you. And by the way, when we looked at this data, there is one thing which is stark that came out, and that is that the top students who are topping in the top 100, 200 rankers in AP EAPCET are not choosing the rank to get into AP. They might have gone out of it because the counselling process is so delayed that those students move on from trying to study in Andhra Pradesh and move away and get into universities outside of Andhra Pradesh possibly, or maybe in one of those national institutions. It can be NIT, IIIT, IIT or any of those things. But very clearly what we notice is very, very few students of the top 100, 200, 300 rankers are actually using the rank to get into one of the colleges in AP itself. And that is something that all of you must understand, and hopefully the government of Andhra Pradesh will work on in terms of ensuring that the counselling is faster and so that students don't lose time. Now coming back to the top colleges, as I told you, we are ranking it based on the hierarchy of closing rank for the best branch, which is CS in this particular case. And that's why when we got into it, the first one is Andhra University College of Engineering in Visakhapatnam. This was established in 1955. So we're dealing with about 71 years of legacy. It's a government college, of course, spread over 160 acres of land. Total students is 2,136. 45% are boys, 55% are girls. Right? And 65% come from outside the state. Now, why does this happen? Typically, Andhra University is supposed to be a university within Andhra Pradesh, so all the students must be within Andhra. This is because this particular batch we're talking about, which is the 23-24 batch for which we have data, till that point in time, students from the United Andhra Pradesh, which is Telangana and Andhra, were taking seats all over the place in Hyderabad or in Visakhapatnam. So you might have actually had a lot of students from Telangana also picking up seats in Andhra University, this particular college. And that is the reason why, though they came in through the United Andhra Pradesh route, here the data is being segregated as outside the state. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. In a state college, all students must be belonging from the state only. But in this particular case, this seems to be an anomaly. This will get corrected as you move along, because now you actually have an entrance examination where only students from Andhra can appear and only students from Andhra can get into these kind of colleges. Right. About 13% come from outside the country. So that's very, very interesting, which essentially means that you have a lot of NRIs who have moved out of Andhra Pradesh wanting to come back and study in this particular college. And the faculty is 262. Now, why do we rate it as very high? You look at the placement statistics, and we have data for NRF 2025, which is Government of India data. This essentially data submitted by this particular college to Government of India for NRF ranking purposes. There what we saw was the intake was 530. The admitted including lateral is 542. The graduating students is 513. So you actually have about 94-95% graduation. 496 of these students were placed and 17 opted for higher studies. So essentially 100% placement. And by the way, this is 100% placement across the years if you noticed, right? And the median salary is 9.3 lakh, which is exceptionally good, right? So 9.3 lakh placement, 100% placement is something that's very, very. The only thing that bothers me at this point in time is between these two, if you notice, how did the jump of more than 50-55% happen? Earlier it was 5.88 lakh. It suddenly jumped to 9.3 lakh. This I somehow find it slightly unbelievable. But this is the government of data, and it is my job to present the data, but also point out the anomaly that I see as I speak. If you want to understand how competitive the institution is, you must look at this particular data, right? Which is the highest closing rank in the open category for some of the branches. Now, if you remember, one of the things that I told you is the number of students who appeared for the examination is 3.4 lakh, right? So a 99 percentile student will get a rank of 3,400. When 3.4 lakh students appeared for the examination, a 99 percentile student will get a rank of 3,403, right? Now, based on that, now you look at the highest closing cutoff rank here. For BTech Computer Science, for the last seat that you have, the highest closing cutoff in the open category is 2,937, right? Which is 99.2 percentile, right? For B Electronics and Communication Engineering, it's 4,933. For BTech Quantum Computing, it is 5,087. For BTech Information Technology, it's 6,933. And for BTech EEE, it's 10,171. So here we are talking of 97 percentile, right? So we are dealing with between 97 and 99.3, 99.4 percentile for you to have the last chance of getting into this particular college. Now, above this, for sure, I saw it that a ranker of 200, 300, 400 also would have preferred this whole thing because they have about 160 or 180 seats all put together. But 2,937 was the highest closing rank at which you can get into BTech CSE as far as Andhra University College is concerned. Now, that is the competition that you're dealing with. That is why the best of the students come in there, and because of which the kind of placement that happens there. Of course, with the caveat that I talked of how possibly the median salary seems to be slightly inflated, right? The next one is JNTU College of Engineering in Kakinada. Now, JNTU, there were 4 universities that you have in the state. Earlier, it was only one JNTU up to, I think, 1972. Then they split. So you have one in JNTU Hyderabad. Then you have JNTU Kakinada. Each of them is a university. Then you have one in Vizianagaram and one Anantapur. So there are 4 JNTU universities. There are 4 separate JNTU universities that you have in Andhra Pradesh, United Andhra Pradesh. Now 1 in Telangana and 3 are in Andhra Pradesh. So we're talking of JNTU in Kakinada at this point in time. 1946 is established. It's a government college spread over 110 acres. 1,692 is the intake, all students put together in UG 4 years pursuing there out there, of which 55% are boys and 45% are girls. 3.4% students come from outside the state and 95 are within the state, and 18 students come from outside the country also. The faculty is 183, which means you actually have 1:9 kind of a faculty-student ratio. Now, why do we rate it very high? Look at the placement numbers. 370 students is the intake in the first year, and this is 23-24 batch, which means they would have joined in 2021, right? Including lateral, it's 405 students. The number of graduating students is 369. Place is 237. 40 went for higher studies. We're talking of 72% placement. Now, again, here also there's a big problem, if I noticed, right? 97% placement was in the previous year. It fell down to 72%. And the reverse happened as far as median salary is concerned. 4.7 lakh has gone up to 7.5 lakh. And the reason is, if you were to place as much as 97.2, this median salary also will come down, because from now on, you'll keep placing at a lower end, right? So essentially what they have done is, in my opinion, at this point in time, because earlier it is consistent of over 97-98% placement, and here it's 72% placement. So the two things that are possible that would have happened. They would have restricted some companies which are offering lower pay from coming to the campus for placement purposes. So to that extent, those companies did not come in and the number of placement percentage dropped. Or two, they did not show those who were placed at a lower salary and remove them from the bottom 20%, because of which what is 93-94% placement would have become 72% placement, but the median salary would go up to that extent. Both are possible, but very clearly what I notice at this point in time is that this 97% coming down to 72% is a big red flag. And as much as 4.7 lakh going up to 7.5 lakh looks very unbelievable, because earlier it was the same. So my opinion, the first one is possible that they would have restricted, saying unless you pay at least 6 lakh rupees salary, you can't come to a campus for placement, because of which the number of companies that came to campus for placement has fallen dramatically. And to that extent, 25% of the students were not placed. Or the other thing that's happened is, they would have placed them, but they would have not shown it as a part of the formal placement process. And to that extent, the median salary went up, but the placement percentage went down. But any which ways, that's how the institution operates. Now, what is the cutoff that you need? What kind of rank do you need? Here it is 2,970 for BTech CSE, right? If you remember, for the earlier one, for Andhra University, it is 2,937, and for this, it is 2,970 for this one. For BTech CSE. For BTech ECE, it is 4,202. So here also we're talking of 99.2 percentile, right? For BTech CSE, it is 5,444. And by the way, CSE for AIML, right? For BTech Mechanical, it's 8,688. And for BTech Electrical and EEEE, it is 9,613. So it's quite competitive, because here we're talking of 97 percentile and here we're talking of 99 percentile. So you should be between 97 and 99 percentile, 97 percentile and above to get into this college. And you have to be about 99.2 percentile and above to get into the CSE branch of this college. And if it's AIML, 98.5 percentile kind of a number. Now, the third one is Gayatri Vidya Parishad. It is in Visakhapatnam again. Established in 1996. Right, it's a private college. Spread about 21 acres, 4,931 students, 67% are boys and 33% are girls. 41 come from outside the state and 99% come from within the state. One is from outside the country also. The faculty is 254. So we're dealing with 1 is to about 19 kind of a faculty student ratio. Now, in terms of placement, the 23-24 batch placement data that we have 1,140 students which joined about 4 years back. 1,312 were admitted. So this is also lateral recruitment that happens. 1,185 students graduated from here. So we're dealing with about 90% graduation rate. 826 students were placed and 92 moved for higher studies. So we're dealing with 76% placement rate at 5.4 lakh rupees median salary. Now at 826 students, this 5.4 lakhs is decent, which means that you'll also have the 10 lakh students, 12 lakh student kind of placement also. That would be a part of this whole thing. And it comes down to 5.4 lakh as the median salary, which means at the lower end, it can be about 3.5, 4 lakh rupees also, 3 lakh rupees also. At the higher end, it will be about 9 lakh, 10 lakh also. And this is the number of placed students across branches that you see. CSE, 212 students were placed. ECE, 113 students were placed. Civil, 75 were placed. CSE, AI and ML is 53 students placed. CSC Data Science is 47 students placed. Information Technology is 44 students placed. EEE is 37 students placed, and so on and so forth. Right? Now, when we talk of the highest closing rank here for you to get into this particular college, for BTech Data Science, 3071 is the highest closing rank, which means that you're dealing with 99 percentile. Right? BTech CSE is 4127, which means you're dealing with 98.8 percentile. BTech AI and ML is 4,317, which is 98.7 percentile or 6 percentile, right? BTech Cybersecurity is 5,646 and BTech ECE is 6,333. So again, we're dealing with between 90, this is 98 percentile. Between 98 percentile and 99 percentile is what you need to get into Gayatri Vidya Parishad at this point in time. The next one is JNTU. I told you earlier there were 4 JNTUs that you have. This one is JNTU in Kalikiri, which is in Anantapur district. Right. Now, this was established in 2013. It's a government university. Campus size is 107 acres. We, as Career 360, rank it as AAA+, which is a decent rating. And the fees is about 90,000. All state universities have that kind of a fee structure, you know that. And the seat intake is about 60. for each branch. In terms of placed, you have 108 students for placed for ECE branch. CSE branch, 55 students for placed. So ECE, there might be two branches, EAAA and ECE possibly. Okay, AAA is also here. Mechanical branch is 37 students placed from 60, remember that. Civil from 60, 28 were placed. And from FDT branch, 10 students were placed. That is what you're dealing with at this point in time. Now this ECE 108, which means there might be two batches out there, which is 120 students for all the 10. Now, what is the highest closing rank that you need in the open category through the AP EAPCET counselling that you have? 7,768 if you want to get into CSE, which is 97.5 percentile. Right, BTech ECE 6,262, which is 97 percentile and 98 percentile. BTech Electrical and Electronics Engineering is 12,177, which is 96 percentile. BTech Civil is 22,000, which is 93 percentile. And for Mechanical Engineering is 35,507, which actually, if you look at it, it's about 89 percentile or 88 percentile. Right, so it's quite competitive at the top end, 97, 98, 96 kind of a percentile. But when you come down to mechanical and all, it would have come down a bit. The next one is JNTU University of Engineering in Vizianagaram, the third university. We talked of Visakhapatnam, we talked of Andhra Kalikiri, and now we talk of Vizianagaram. We talked of three universities, remember? And all JNTUs are good because they're founded as a technology university, so it all works better. This was established in 2007. It's a government university spread over 80 acres, 1,500 students. 57% are boys, 43% are girls, and 1% students come from outside the state. And the faculty-student ratio is 95 students, faculty for 1,500, which means 1:15 kind of a ratio. Now, here the last data that we have is for 2021 only. After that, we don't have data. I don't know how relevant it is, but the placement is 3.6 lakh, and the percentage of placement is 60%. So this seems to be a very chronic case because for the simple reason that you can't simply have a good university but have a placement of 50% and that too at 30,000 rupees per month, because 3.6 lakh is what this is turning out to be. So, but having said that, this seems to be topping the charts in terms of preference because I think the local area students actually go there, because of which the highest closing rank for the branches is very, very good there. Now, for BTech CSE, it should be 13,270, which essentially, if you work backwards, it converts to 96.5 percentile. Right, and for BTech Electronics, 95 percentile. For BTech Information Technology, 20,320, which is about 93 percentile. For Mechanical is 25,653, which is about 91 percentile. And Civil is 39,405, which is about 87 percentile. Right, that's the kind of number that you need to get into this particular guy, because this is the highest closing rank that you had through the AP EAPCET Common Entrance Examination to get into JNTU in Vizianagaram for these particular branches through the common counselling open category. So this is what we've done for AP EAPCET. We'll be doing a few more examinations as you want. You want me to do any examination of your choice or any college of your choice, write to us in the message box. Happy to do that. My research team will work on it and I'll be the presenter for that. And two, if you want to talk to us, there's a WhatsApp number, message us and we'll have a counselor talk to you. Thank you so much. Namaste.